But at some point, we have to make that shift. We have to make that shift towards this is a solution. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start let people in. And as I let people in, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. And we will get to some introductions. Guys, please mute yourself. And as we get in, please mute yourself, and we'll get to introductions. If you are interested in actually joining the panel, so I see we have a couple of Black women here that joined the live last night. If you are one of the Black women that actually we left off with on the live, go ahead and join up. Or you know what? If you are not and you want to actually join the live, go ahead and hop in the box. We'll get you in here. We will absolutely get you in here. All right, we are going to start with a couple of quick introductions. Navy, how are you? Navy, are you there?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, Navy. Can you tell the people, are you, especially after the conversation that we had yesterday, are you someone that is a Democrat, progressive, socialist, or communist?
Democrat progressive.
You're a Democrat,
Progressive
progressive.
Democrat.
You're a progressive Democrat. You're a progressive Democrat. There you go. There you go.
I mean, I guess because you like to put labels on everybody.
I do. I'm all about my labels. I'm all about my labels. All about them. All right, give me a second. Gucci, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Gucci, can you tell the people, are you a Democrat, progressive, Democrat, progressive, socialist, or communist?
Progressive.
All right, perfect. Give me a second here. Debbie, how are you?
Hi.
Debbie, are you unmuted?
Can you hear me?
I can, but it doesn't look like you're unmuted. That's weird.
I'm in Scotland.
Scotland.
And I
Okay.
want to give you an opinion from outside America.
Oh, okay. Hey, Debbie, I appreciate you so much, my friend. I do. But I think that for this live, unfortunately, we are just looking for people not only within the United States, but people that voted on the left, because this live is definitely about addressing the issues that the Democratic Party has within the US. But next time we have a live, we're going to start having more inclusive lives where you can join. But just specifically for this topic this week, we are only looking for people that voted for Kamala Harris in this past election.
That's okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, come back. I promise you, we're going to have other topics, okay?
I follow you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Chai, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful. Chai, can you tell the people, are you a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
I'm a progressive.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Fee Talk Back. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Fee, are you a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
Probably a progressive.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So listen, I do kind of want to wrap up this conversation that we were having last night, and then I want to get into the crux, yeah, crux of what we were talking about. But first, let's run through a couple of quick things, and this is information for the people on the panel, guys. If you're on the panel, please be mindful of TikTok friendly language. What does that mean? That means using words like unalive, AB, mustache man, pew pew, C19. Also, guys, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means that we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel nor in the chat. And speaking of the chat, please do not use caps. Caps are for mods, and caps will pull my attention away from the conversation on the panel to the chat, and we don't want to do that, especially not this week. So guys, please be mindful because my mods, they don't play, they will mute and block. Last but not least, guys, let's go ahead and keep everything moving, keep the screen tapping. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 50,000 likes. I'm going to keep resetting the gift goal to these little small goals, which will help push us out to the FYP. And oops, I forgot to do this. Holy smokes. Forgot to do this. Boom. And we do have a nightly donation goal of $250. So if you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And also, if you're over on YouTube, first of all, what up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? If you're over on YouTube, please make sure that you like the stream. And also, if you are interested in actually supporting the live, you can send a YouTube super chat and you will actually be able to support. I'll read that message out. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man. Long day at work, but we're here.
I understand. Chris, are you a Democrat, a progressive, socialist, or a communist?
Loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'm more of a progressive, to be honest with you. I'm registered as a Republican because that's what my parents told me to do at 18, but I've never once voted for one before. So
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, Chris, listen, I'm gonna start this conversation off though with the black women on the panel because I do want to be able to finish out the conversation that we were having last night. But as soon as we can finish this up, then of course we can go ahead and get you into the conversation. But again, I want to make sure that I finish out speaking to the black women on the panel and we finish speaking about the topics that we had. SJ, how are you, friend?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wonderful. SJ, can you tell the people, are you a Democrat, progressive, socialist, or communist?
I'm a radical leftist.
Ooh, so you're as far as you can go.
I'm a lunatic. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, SJ, I don't know if you heard what I was just telling Chris, but I have a conversation.
Yeah, I heard a little bit.
Okay, perfect. So just hold tight for me for a few minutes. I want to finish up with the black women, and then we'll open it up to everybody.
No problem.
Chris, not Chris G, the other Chris. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Chris, are you a Democrat, progressive, socialist, or communist?
Democrat. I want to keep it with Democrat. Yes, for sure.
Okay. And Chris, just to verify, because I don't want to assume, are you a black woman?
I'm biracial.
Okay, so multiracial.
Just like Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but you do have one black parent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you qualify for this conversation. All right, so I want to get you in on this conversation, and so I'll start here. And again, guys, we got one more box open. And again, if you are a black woman or a femme presenting black woman, you have the ability to join, and you can join this conversation. Or if you're someone that wants to join the conversation overall, and you don't mind hanging out just for a few minutes while we finish, go ahead and request up, and you will get a spot on the panel. With that being said, I'm going to open this up. So, Chris, I don't know if you heard the conversation last night, but the conversation really ended in a really interesting place, right? Because we were talking about the differences in the left, and we were talking about the different candidates, which we're trying to get to an understanding of, it was really more so centered around the topic of you're right, I'm right, we're wrong, right? And how a lot of people are entrenched in their ideas, and how they look for a candidate that kind of sticks to what they believe, and the difference in, the potential candidates and how we can make the connection, blah, blah, blah. But then someone brought up, of course, Kamala Harris, and then another person brought up Jasmine Crockett. And the person that brought up, or someone said that apparently there was a live where basically they said Jasmine Crockett is too black to be president. Right. And then it went down a rabbit hole. We started talking about like how if there's going to be a black woman president, that basically they have to be, all these amazing things because they're going to have strikes against them and just all this other stuff. But then we started really digging into the root of it as far as, the United States founded on racism and sexism, and how Kamala Harris had such an uphill battle, and she was kind of like quote unquote model of consistency. And it really drove the question home as far as, can a black woman win the presidency in 2028? And I just kind of want to wrap this up, and I want to hear your thoughts. We're going to move on and really hit the rest of the actual panel in the background, but I want to give the black women on the panel, one, an opportunity to finish that conversation, and two, I'm so interested in hearing their thoughts. So Chris, I'm actually going to start with you, since you were the last person I introduced and you didn't get to speak, and then I'm going to come to Fee, and then we'll move it around to Navy, Gucci, and Chai Chai. But Chris, can a black woman win the 2028 presidential election?
Santana, you're referring to me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Just want to
Well,
make sure.
yeah, Chris G doesn't qualify, but I'll call him Chris G.
Sorry.
You're the original Chris. He's Chris G.
I'm sorry.
hmm
Okay. I doubt it
Ooh, tell me why.
because this country is so based on racism, sexism, and misogyny. So
hmm
I don't know if those values are ever going to change anytime soon because it's ridiculous.
It
Right
is.
now, you can literally see what the current administration is doing, and it's like people like supporting the cult don't even want to think any way or any other like concept. They just believe whatever this man says.
hmm
It's just so ridiculous. It's like I don't know what tomorrow holds because it's scary. Like
Yeah.
every day, it's like a new executive order, or it's like a new concept that he comes up with. It's freaking scary.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I don't see a future for a female president. I'm
Mm.
hopeful. Again, I'm hopeful, but I don't know that at this point. Like where we stand now, I can't believe we're in May. We're always almost halfway through the year, and this is where we stand.
Yeah.
So
Now, so I want to make sure we focus on, because I don't want to talk about necessarily the right or this administration, right? I want to keep it where we are. And first of all, okay, Chris, you changed your profile picture. That's why I didn't notice who you were.
I did.
You tried to throw me off your scent.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No worries. All right, give me a second. I want to come over to Fee. And so Fee, same question. Can a black woman win the presidency in 2028? And then I want to layer on top of that, why can't, yes or no, like what would it take to rally the left behind a black woman?
I would say no, not in
Mm,
2028. Maybe a little bit further in the future, but not 2028. I don't think, because of implicit bias, I think it would be rather difficult for any black or white woman to win, for
mm,
that matter. It is very hard for Americans to associate a woman with being in a leadership role as well as being qualified. We often hear that she wasn't qualified,
but
but
she
there are no
was.
list for what the
Yeah.
qualifications are. So I think that's a really big hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, and so the one of the reasons why I really wanted to have this conversation as well is because literally black women are not only the backbone of the Democratic Party, but they are the most loyal and consistent part of the Democratic Party while driving so many great things, right? We understand that black women are the most educated group in the country. We understand that black women are starting entrepreneurships at the highest rate. And so they quite literally are showing you that they are the picture of leadership. And so that's a little bit weird to me that for some reason in 2025, I'm sorry, yeah, 2025 and potentially 2028, people would think that black women aren't ready to lead. That's weird, and even more, we should be able to rally the left behind them.
Yeah, it would probably seem that way, but again, the way our minds work, that it's just not that easy. I do think that women in general are just the backbones of the
I agree.
home,
I
and
agree.
even still, we are not seen as that backbone. It's still seen that if there is a man in the home, even if he does nothing more than just pay bills, and even if he doesn't, he's still seen as the person who is a better leader. So I think overcoming some of those things, I do think it's a little bit easier, but um, on the left, but we do know that there are an awful lot of, well, not a lot, but there was a percentage of Black men that could not get behind her, a larger percentage of the Hispanic male population that could not get behind her. And of course, the YT males had to come out in full force and say that they were going to break records for coming out to vote and going against that. So, and then again with the YT women, it's just that thing again of leadership and also not wanting a Black woman to be in charge of other people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, thank you, Fee. All right, so now I'm gonna come to Navy. I'm gonna come to Navy, and I'm gonna switch the question up a little bit. In Navy, I need to know because you and I know, right? You and I know Black women get the job done, right? And you and
Mm-hmm.
I both know that a sister can get some people in line, right? What did Beyonce say? Better get in formation. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said,
Who runs
Navy,
the world, Santana?
girls, girls. No, but on a serious note, because I saw Gucci say, no, someone else said in the chat, we need to change the narrative. So, Navy, I'm putting it on you. How do we change the narrative to get the left to rally behind a Black woman if that's our candidate? Because we are going to talk more about uniting the left and getting them behind whoever we actually do select. But specifically, what would it take for us? Like, what does that look like, and how could we get that done?
Um, Oof, that's a hard one, especially
Mm-hmm.
for this coming election.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it's for this coming election, ooh, I gotta think on that. You're making me
Mm.
work my brain this late at night.
I know.
I think the thing to do would be to point out how successful she was in her roles before becoming vice president.
Mm.
Uh, Now, are we talking Kamala
No,
or just
no, no,
any
no.
black woman?
Any Black woman. Now, of course, Kamala Harris is the most prominent, right? Because she was most recent, the most recent, the most recent person on the Democratic ticket. And then we do know Jasmine Crockett because she is a superstar. But just
Mm-hmm.
speaking in general, right? Because we do know for a fact that there are plenty of qualified Black women politicians that could pick up that mantle and completely run the country better than the people on the other side. Um, but what would it take for any Black woman?
Well, I think one of the things is pointing out their accomplishments and how versatile their skills are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I hate to use Kamala as an example, but something that I think should have been more pushed out to the public was how she started a program for first time offenders when she was in California. That,
This is the Back on Track program. Yep.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I think those things speak to the Black population
Mm-hmm.
specifically to say, hey, look what she's doing for us. But then in addition to that, also just population at whole as a whole, it gives an idea of, okay, this person isn't just somebody that's, pushing papers. This is somebody that is invested in, getting people out of the system and helping them be successful. So those kinds of things that a person has in their past history, I think it humanizes them more, and shows that she can do A, B, C, D, E, and F, and is more than capable of running a country. But I think that's something just in general, Democrats need to start doing more of, is touting the successes, the wins, all of those things, putting them more out there
Mm-hmm.
for people to see. Because, like, even like right now, the Democrats are doing things, but people don't see it. So
Yeah.
they assume that they're doing nothing. So that's what I would say is those things that you have accomplished that you might think of as something small and, oh, it's just part of my history.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that whoever the person is that is going to be running needs to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is an amazing point that literally you gave me an alley-oop to where I was going next. I think one, again, yes, we know that the Democratic Party has a messaging problem and there's so much more that can be done. But two, I think the Democratic Party has an imaging problem, right? And when I say imaging problem, that's why the bullet point on the screen says looking good versus doing good. And the Democratic Party tends to worry a lot about looking good, right?
Hmm.
So we're gonna figure that out. Um, let me move on to Gucci because Gucci, Navy threw you an alley, right? Navy threw you an alley, and Gucci, can a black woman be herself? Gucci,
Oh,
Gucci, can a black woman who wants to be the president in 2028, can she be herself? Because I know last night we talked about how, certain they would have to be in a situation where they're basically perfect. I mean, we saw that what happened with this past election where Kamala Harris had to be flawless. And yes, it seems like a lot of people authentically love to see people, then they feel like, oh, I can get a beer with this person. They feel like this person is real. Gucci, can a black woman be herself and win the presidency?
Honestly, in my opinion, yes. I
Mm,
think which is why like my option yesterday was Jasmine Crockett,
mm-hmm,
because I feel like she is herself or who
mm-hmm,
she is, at least who she appears to be, I guess.
mm-hmm,
And people love her for it.
mm-hmm,
I think we're in a time where people crave authenticity.
mm-hmm.
So, is it going to be difficult? Yes. It's not going to be easy. It wasn't easy for Harris. Um,
But do you think she was herself?
no,
Okay, because I was just
no.
about to say, like,
Which is
it, it, I like, there are certain times where you could see like the fun auntie, right?
yes,
And then there was other times where like she was so robotic because she had to be, which as a black man that's worked in corporate America all his life, like I understand that. I understand the need to quote unquote conform, right? To even code switch, which a lot of people don't understand what that is. So I understand that. And so how could Jasmine Crockett break that mold? I mean, especially going up against the system as far as, having quote unquote two strikes already. She's black, she's already a woman. And again, the left, which we have to talk about, for some reason won't necessarily unite around certain candidates because they're always looking for a perfect candidate.
and that's where my disappointment comes in with the left is or the Democratic Party is not having faith in the black women in their party to be able to win.
Mm,
And the I guess the country sees it. If we can't trust the black women in our party to lead, why would we expect them to?
yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
And
Okay.
there's this like fear of like losing the election, which I get.
Hmm. I mean, hell, we keep losing anyway.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know.
I think
Maybe
the
we saw
time is
something different.
now. I don't think the time is in the future. I don't think it's in a few years. I think it's now.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Gucci. And last but not least, Chai Chai. I
Hey.
wanted to call you Chi Chi. That's why I had to slow down for a
Yeah.
second. Chai Chai. I'm gonna let
Hey.
you round this out, because I genuinely have to know this, right? We understand that there are so many different things that the left brings, right? I mean, it's multifaceted. With that being said, a black woman who literally is made of magic, can a black woman actually unite the party? Like, do you think that not only it's not about qualifications, right? Because we know qualifications, Kamala Harris had the qualifications, but the way that Barack Obama, a black man, captured the left, do you think that a black woman could do the same? And what would it take for her to do so?
Well,
Ooh, tell me that wasn't a good one.
that was a good question.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, Santana. We trust
Mhm.
black women to do everything else but leadership.
Everything, which is
Everything
wild.
else, it's crazy.
Mhm.
So when you ask me that question, of course I can I can see it because I know it. We've done it in church. We've done it in stressful situation. We hold down the household when we're
Just
married. So why is it that we can't be political, advancement in the realm of politics? Why
but
is it our
but
skin tone holding us back?
so the one thing that I will say about that, because you mentioned leadership, that I will say this: I think that that's an issue with the country as a whole, right? Because the country as a whole, and we know the patriarch, right? But there's the thought process that women just aren't good leaders, which women are more equipped to lead than men because they have higher EQ, right? And they actually have the emotional stability where, let's be honest, men don't have that. And they have the ability to navigate, in my opinion, way tougher situations than men could ever, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'll just give you this quick example. The difference between my wife and I, my wife will have a migraine and move about her day like nothing is happening. Cha-Cha, if I get a headache, I am shutting this down. Like nothing is moving. If I have a headache, I will turn everything off and nothing moves. But Cha-Cha, I mean, like, why? Because women prove it every day.
Well, it's I think it's patriarchy. Patriarchy
Mm-hmm.
is just let us misogyny, patriarchy. That's what I'm gonna go with
Mm-hmm.
because like we accept women to lead in a household.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
we are just telling them you just can't lead here. You can lead over there, but not here. And we need to
Mm-hmm.
stop doing that. And I think the Democratic Party have a defeatist mindset of letting black women be in leadership role
Mm-hmm.
because they just think like, oh, the society is not going to accept it. But there's a lot of stuff that were done so people didn't think society would accept, but we changed the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
We pull through. We
Mm-hmm.
lead with facts,
Mm-hmm.
and people were able to change their mind. But if we're going in with a defeatist mindset, we're not going to we're not going to have anything done. But if we're going to allow women to lead in other aspects area of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna tell them no in the political spheres, you can't lead, you can't bring people together, it's nonsense. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and it's something that I find troubling, right? Not in the sense of not in the sense of like, oh, we're deserved this or we're owed this or whatever, but I just don't understand if we have someone who is just flat out better, right? Just just flat out better, flat out prepared in every single way, why is it that someone that's subpar can actually beat them out? That makes no sense to me.
And the thing is, we're not playing fair too. They're playing another ball game.
Mm,
I think just like you said, we just want to look good instead of doing good. So it's in we're not playing. Actually, we should be able to beat them because
yeah,
like remember the narrative is there is no racism, right? But you
yeah,
just told her she can't win because she's dark skinned.
mm,
You know what I mean? We need to check that. We're just like they're like hitting the ball and we're just standing there. We're
yeah,
not playing. We're just not playing.
yeah,
And we need to stop doing that. We need to stop giving the benefit of the doubt that we're going to take the high road. No, you go low. I'm going to go lower.
gonna
You know
go
what I
to
mean?
hell with it.
Yeah, go ahead with it. Like we need to stop doing this. Oh my, I'm just too educated to like even entertain this conversation. No,
Yeah,
like they say something back and keep it moving. You
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
like stay there, but just like check them on it and just keep it moving. And I think that's what the problem is. Like somebody should have checked that person that said, "Hey, she is just too dark skinned to be president." Check
Mm,
them.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is what I want to do because again, I want to move around, open it up to the rest of the panel, but I do want to actually, there's some people in the box. I want to switch some people out. More so because one, I know it's late for certain people, but also two, I know that I want to get some people in that have not had an opportunity to actually join the panel. So Navy, Gucci, I appreciate you guys so much. And if you want to come back later, you can, but I want to come back to you both one more time just to get any final thoughts that both of you have, and also just to appreciate you so much because both of you have been absolutely amazing over these last couple of nights. So, Navy, I'll start with you.
I just wanted to chime in on what Chai was just saying. I think something that Black women in general also have to combat is um, within our own community when Black women are accomplishing things, because we know that we have to be 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
The Black community has to realize they should not jump on that train
Mm-hmm.
and start expecting and asking these astronomical things of whoever that Black woman is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've noticed with this past election, a lot of people have said, well, I wanted her to do this. I wanted her to
Mm-hmm.
be this. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
her, like, it's just more and more and more and more. And I'm like, okay, but you're doing exactly what this country has done to us, expecting us to be 10 times better than the average person in order to achieve something. And to me, it's not fair. So I think that's something with whoever it is that ends up running um, as a Black woman. That's something within our own community. We need to check people when you hear them saying this, because some of the standards and expectations they had
Mm.
for Kamala were just insane to me. And it's like, okay, well, you expected all of this and then some from her. And because she didn't get it or give it, you didn't vote for her, but you turned around and voted for a felon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that not sound unfair? Like, so
Yeah.
that's something I've noticed that I would say, when we hear that and we're hearing it from our own community, we definitely need to check these people and remind them, no, you're not jumping
Yep.
on that bandwagon with how society has always treated us. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, and so I'll say this, and Navy, don't leave yet. Just hang tight on the panel for me for a second.
Okay, I can stay
I'll
for as long as you need me.
no, I'm gonna swap you up because there's a bunch of people in the box and I want to get people in, but I do want you to just hold tight for a second. But I'll say this to what you just said. You know how many times I had conversation with Black men who were like, "Well, Kamala Harris isn't doing anything specific for Black men," and then when she came
Hmm.
out with a plan specifically for Black men, you know what they started saying? well, she only did that because we said that she didn't have anything for black men.
Mm-hmm.
She can't win.
First of all, okay, she did what you wanted her to do. Second of all, what did Donald Trump have for black men? Nothing, right?
Oh, or the
So,
other thing was, well, she didn't say she was doing anything specific for black men. So that to me meant she wasn't doing anything for us.
yep,
And I'm like, if what she was doing was going to help black women, couldn't
yep,
you at least support her to support black women as a whole?
yep,
But then if you even break it down further, did you read the policies and realize that not only would it benefit the nation as a whole, but for a lot of black people, that option to start generational wealth by getting the credit on home purchasing,
mm-hmm,
it's like the stuff was right there in your face. Yes, it would benefit the nation, but it would have benefited black people in an amazing way. But she can't get up there and say, okay, I'm doing this specifically for black people. Black people aren't the only ones in the United States.
yep. Hold on a second. Hey, clap back, clap back. Listen, I love you so much, clap back. I appreciate you so much, but that's enough shares. That is enough shares. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the shares, but that's enough. That's enough. We do not want to spam share. That is not good for the TikToks. That is not good for the TikToks. I appreciate it. Listen, I love you to life. Thank you so much. But we do not want to spam share. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your point, Navy.
Oh no, that was it. Just we gotta watch when people say stuff like that because it's like it, you have to read deeper. You can't expect a candidate to just specifically say, I'm doing all of this for one particular group, because if you do that, that then alienates all of the other groups, which then means nobody gets any of the benefits from any of the policies that that person has that
Yep.
could benefit everybody. And then in addition to that, the black community in an amazing way.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Stay up here for just a moment, Navy. Guys, if you could, if you wouldn't mind, please, let's show Navy some love. Navy has been absolutely, absolutely amazing over these last couple of nights. First and foremost, if you're not following her, she is a fountain of knowledge. Please, please, please show her some love and make sure you give her a follow. But guys, let's sprinkle her with some gifts. If we could, let's hit Navy with some gifts. Let's show Navy some love. So let's spam Navy with some gifts. Please, 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 and thank you, chat. Let's appreciate Navy. Gucci, Gucci, final thought for you.
Um, I'm just gonna like second what Chai Chai said. Literally everything I agree with.
Mhm.
But I think we need to. I think one of the reasons why Trump has such a hold on MAGA is how available, I guess I should say, not necessarily available, but he's like always talking. He's always yapping.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do on the left
Mhm.
is be louder, keep
Mhm.
talking. We
Mhm.
need to talk about the accomplishments of like the Democratic Party. People didn't really know what all Biden and Harris did during their
Mhm.
4 years, and they did a lot, but they didn't
Mhm.
talk about it. And I think that's like the old school way of doing things is like doing it and hoping like it looks good enough for people to come to your side.
Yeah.
So I think we need to like just keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, when certain people on the internet who spend time hosting lives and debating MAGA and all this other stuff reach out to political candidates and like, hey, I want to help you. Let's do something. How
Yeah.
about they at least respond to the email?
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
And if they're not, then that's the kind of person that we need to be voting out of the party.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Hold tight for me a moment, Gucci. Guys, let's do the wonderful things for Gucci as well. Gucci has been putting it down night after night. She has been completely locked in on this conversation. So can we please, please, please show Gucci some love as well? Guys, can we please, please, please show Gucci some love? Can we actually, one, make sure we give Gucci a follow, but two, let's give Gucci. Let's give Gucci. All right, Navy, I'm going to drop you down. We're going to go ahead and start getting a couple of other people in here and we will move it forward. So I want to come to I want to come to SJ. SJ, I'm gonna come to you first. What up, Jess? Guys,
All right. Hey, brother.
drop some W's in the chat for Jessica Simone, my co-host on the Culture and Chaos podcast. Guys, if you haven't watched this week's episode is out and we brought it. So make sure you're following us over on YouTube, TikTok, all the wonderful places. But make sure you check out this week's episode because it was fire. Fire. SJ, SJ, I gotta come to you
Yes.
because I need to know. Is left enough? And when I say that, SJ, when I say that, there's a lot of people. The wonderful thing about the Democratic Party is it has so many different people, different groups. But is there a need to kind of drag those people that would call themselves Democrats? Is there a need to drag them along and actually drag them along and get them to progression a little bit? Like, are they holding us back? Plain and simple.
The Democrats?
No. The people who are willing or who call themselves Democrats, they're just sort of conservatives, right? And it is the need for them to hold on to like political norms, right? People like Joe Biden who want to quote unquote do things the right way, they want to reach across the aisle. Are those type of Democrats holding the left back?
I think so. If you, I appreciate the question first of all, and thanks for letting me up. I do think politics in the United States is very mild, tepid, compared to what the left would be considered in other places. And there are certain people who throw around terms like radical, lunatic left when all you want to do is provide lunch for school children. And I think people buy into the label more than the ideology. And understandably, there's a fear of being associated with that kind of categorization. So I do think these people are comfortable being just enough progressive to be accepting, but truly they're not that much different than conservatives. They're just moderates to me.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said about that because when you talk about, and SJ, I've said this a million times, when you talk about like the Republican Party, when they get power, when they get that hammer, they swing that hammer. And the things that they do, they're definitely not beneficial, but it's the things that they want to do. And I think the left tends to get caught up in, trying to hold up the way that things are instead of just doing the good things that we need to do.
Yeah, it's complex in the sense that I don't think the two-party system serves any of us truly at the end of the day, because America is a diverse place, diverse ideas, diverse people, and so when I look at the left and what you kind of described there, I'm like I can see four different parties. When I look at the right, they are galvanized. They're an amalgamation of ideology that seems to be moving forward with inertia and momentum, and it's hard to. I mean, I don't know what type of what different types of conservatives are there, right? They seem to be more aligned, and maybe that's just my outside perspective there. If there's someone conservative up here, they can correct me, but I see
no. There's conservatives aren't allowed on the panel. This is all people on the left.
Okay.
This is about. You might have missed this. This is about us this week, friend. It's all about us.
All right.
We are holding ourselves accountable.
Well, I appreciate it. Speaking of which, I'm a little bit crazy. After the election, I went ahead and made a spreadsheet. I haven't shared it with anyone, but it was an effort to move past the percentages that people talk about, 92, 79% of black men. And it's interesting when you look at the voter turnout, and this is related to the question about Jasmine Crockett and, could a black woman be president? The reality is when I look at these numbers, I see between 2020 and 2024, right? The difference being you have Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. Here's just an example. 48 million white women, I should say, voted for 48.6 million voted for Kamala Harris. 42.7% voted for Joe Biden. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I look at the numbers for Trump, it's clear. So, and remember, voter turnout was lower in
Yeah.
2024. So
Yeah.
150, if you want a specific difference, I can give you. I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now. But um,
I know you didn't
more
bring no
white
damn
people showed
spreadsheet
up.
up here, SJ.
Was that?
So I know you didn't bring no damn spreadsheet up here. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, no, this is just hobby stuff for me because
Nerd.
well,
Go
I'm a
ahead.
designer. I just wanted to understand. But
No, no, no. I'm messing
let
with
me let
you.
me let me just share this. So more white
Mm-hmm.
people showed up for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
The difference being Kamala Harris, and there was lower voter turnout. I'm not even talking percentage. So
Right.
if you look at the total number of white people that voted for Trump,
Mm-hmm.
63.36 million, depending on the source. I've compared NBC, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, and Fox, and I came
Mm-hmm.
up with that number.
Mm.
And then you look at 2020, 59 million white people voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because Kamala Harris was on the ticket, more white people were like, "Nah, miss me with that."
Yeah.
So to to answer your question about can a black woman be president, as much as I'd love to see that, to me
Well, you know
it
that's not
seems
the
as
question
though
anymore, but I
yeah,
appreciate you
I know. I
answering it.
just I,
But
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted
Go
to
ahead.
pitch in there.
You got
That's
it.
all.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I just want to pitch in there. But to your other question
Mm-hmm.
about are the moderates holding us back? Absolutely. And you make a good point about the Republicans or regressives as I call them, where they get in power and they just start moving. I
Yeah.
mean, the last 100 days felt like 3 years to me.
Yep. 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 All
So
right. Hold tight for me a moment here, SJ. Gucci, I'm gonna drop you down, okay?
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to get a couple more people in. We're going to keep rotating the panel, guys. We are shifting the overall focus because, again, now we are back on topic and focusing specifically on fixing the left. We got to fix it. We got to fix us. We got to fix us. If you want to join, go ahead and request up. I'm going to get more people in. We're going to keep rotating. We're going to keep these conversations going. I need you guys to do the good things, though. Let's tap the screen. The likes are moving slow, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a timer up. And I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes to get to 75,000 likes. 10 minutes, 75,000 likes. So we're going to sub only. So tap the screen, share the live, do all the wonderful things. Let's get the likes moving. Also, guys, we do have a nightly donation goal of $250. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24, Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. If you're over on YouTube and you want to support, you can send a YouTube super chat and I will read your message out. I want to come to Chris. Chris G. Gotta hear from you. Because as someone who used to be, who's a registered Republican, but someone who has, lived all around the world and currently lives in the South, you know for a fact that Republicans don't really give a damn about looking good, right? They just care about quote unquote doing good. And for them, the good isn't good enough. It's just what they want to get done. And we talked about that hammer. What does the left need to do, right? I mean, is there a line of demarcation as far as specifically they have to actually worry about looking good in all situations? Or should we do things when we can do it, like codifying Roe or getting, universal health care, like forcing those things that would be beneficial through? Or do we have to continue to worry about optics?
I would say it's a combination of both, and here's what I mean, right? So you see on the right they use a bunch of simplistic phrases in order to kind of frame key socio-political issues. I think the left's going to have to do a great job of polarizing that and making it relatable to the average American citizen. And I think I found a great example on Alexandria Ocasio Cortez's platform that
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going somewhere with this, which is really well. For example, her Medicare for All, she punches people in the face by addressing how this is a cost to the economy, how this is a cost to employers, how this is a cost to the average citizen. Like we need more of that, right? Same thing
Mm-hmm.
because I think the only person that really hammered it down recently the past few years was Obama by making it sound very relatable. but the right or just any average American citizen thinks about Medicare for all, and they're like, oh, it's going to tank the economy, it's going to be bad. But then when you bring the upfront cost to what it's going to cost American employers, people like that, you have to make these simple issues, right? Well, not so simple, sound polarizing somehow, or else you're just never going to get it across. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the right's making these bad issues that's happening polarizing, and people don't even have to deem it as true. They just take it as a gospel.
Mm, mm. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, give me a second here. Give me a second. Um, let's push it over just for a second to Jacob. Jacob, what do you think? Do you think that optics really matters in the face of doing good?
Um, Wait, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Do you think optics really matter in the face of doing good? Meaning, do we have to worry so much about how we look as long as the actual things are beneficial? If we got to get things done, should we worry so much about like, oh, well, we didn't reach across the aisle, or oh, the left is going to be able to say, well, they did this without us. Like, for example, Joe Biden, one of the first things he did when he got into office was start working on a border bill, right? A bipartisan border bill, and he didn't sign executive orders to, quote unquote, secure the border. He wanted to work across the aisle, and they put in years of work for Donald Trump just to tank that bipartisan border bill. And it could have been a situation where Joe Biden just, used the power of the pen, which we understand that that's not how you want to govern. But it was such a focus on reaching across the aisle that something that could have been beneficial overall and gotten a lot of things to happen, and, pretty much snuffed out something that Donald Trump wanted to use for the election. It was something that was handed over because it was something where Joe Biden had to wait, and then he finally had to sign executive orders after not being able to look good to do good.
Yeah, so my point of view on this is that I think we as the left, we just, I think we have to start basically, um, sorry, I lost my train
Yeah,
of
no,
thought,
listen,
but like,
SJ turned on his camera and turned up the sexy to say he had to go. He threw me off too. Appreciate you, SJ. Go
um,
ahead, Jacob. You got it.
no, but we have to start showing people that we actually care about our dem
You're good.
democracy,
Hmm.
um because we're saying the right things, but I don't think we're putting them into action. And that's the one thing that is going to be critical in the next election, is that we need to show the young people.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Jacob. We need to show
Um,
what?
we need to show the young people like me that we're actually making movements, and we're just not saying that we're making the movements. It's almost that we need to actually put this into accountability now.
Yeah,
So,
no, listen, I completely agree. I absolutely agree with that. And I guess the question I would have then would be like, I know you're a young man, and I know you're getting active, right? Um, do you think that the left, the Democratic Party, the left needs to focus on, quote unquote, leaning into wokeism, right? More so like going more left, investing in those social safety nets, investing in those things that would actually benefit more people. Like, do they need to focus on those things and push harder on those? Because it seems like those would be things that would appeal to young people.
I mean, yeah, because the one thing is that it's going to be critical that we get the young vote this next election, because, you know, I just feel like, again, a lot of us are a lot of younger people are really brainwashed. So we need to, I guess, when you say wokeism, you mean just like waking up to reality of
No,
like,
no, I was using it more in the sense of like, you know how the right likes to say, "Oh, you guys are so worried about being woke," like in
yeah,
that sense. But really, when they say that, they're trying to say we're so worried about basically people having human rights and basic needs, taken care of. So that's what we really mean. But they try to use it as a gotcha thing.
yeah. I mean, I I just feel like we need someone to step up, and we need someone to actually show us that stuff is going to be done, and we need to be all in, because
Yep.
if we aren't all in, then it's going to be again where it's four separate parties and one, like, we need to be all together.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, I completely, completely agree. And that's another reason why we have to talk about this because we do have such a wide range of people and we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Listen, guys, we got a minute and 4 seconds left to get to 70,000 likes or we are going to sub only. We got 55, 54 seconds left to get to 70,000 likes. So we're going to sub only. Tap the screen, guys. Tap the screen. And also, guys, massive, massive, massive W's in the chat for Gucci. Gucci sent a $10 donation saying for the information, education, entertainment. W's in the chat for Gucci. Also, guys, W's in the chat for E. What up, E? Too late. E sent a $10 donation to say, let's move this goal. W's in the chat for E, guys. Thank you so much, guys. That means we only have $230 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please, please, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. So I want to come back to Chris for a second. Just Chris, so you can give your final thoughts because there's a couple other people in the box. I want to make sure we're rotating people in. But Chris, I want to hear from you for a second because I want to know, like, what do we do, right? What do we do to actually get to the point of being able not only to unite the party, but putting someone out in front that would actually be able to win? So how do we do that? Because we understand that this group is a large, large group of different people. How do we find someone that fits everyone?
I think we need to stop the division.
Mm.
I think we cannot hate ourselves. We don't need to be conflicting ourselves against each other. We don't need to be like fighting against each other. We just need to be united. We are all in this together. Mind you, people. Mind you, people. We are all in this together, regardless. Like, if you're not a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever.
Did you say
Okay.
trillionaire? Who got a trillion?
I don't know. I'm just. It might be a trillionaire.
If somebody if there's a trillionaire, let me hold it down. Let me get a dollar. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Right now, it's like it might be a trillionaire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we, as common working people, trying to survive every day-to-day life and trying to make it to everyday life, we need to make it and stand it together. How much ever the other party is in a cult, y'all need to be out of that cult.
We're not gonna talk about them. We don't care about them right now, friend. It's
I know,
about
but
us.
it's like, yeah, it's like so hard. It's like I hear this every day. It's
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's just so
I get it.
why?
I get it. But listen, hey, thank you so much for coming up. Thank you for hanging out with us. You know, you're
I
always
appreciate it.
welcome.
I'll change
I
my
like,
profile picture
I was about to say,
to
you
my
know, try
profile.
to sneak in on me like that. Like, I don't know. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me, Santana. Always
Thank you.
support, brother.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Hey. Good night.
All right. All right. Quick round robin for the new people on the panel. Let's start with my friend, Yellow Chick. What up? Yellow Chick, are you there? There we go.
Sorry, I was having a little problem getting off the mic.
You're
And I'm at
good. You're
work
good.
too, so I'm like walking to a private spot so I can
Oh,
talk.
okay. Okay. Well,
So that
real
means I'm
quick.
here for a good time, not a long time.
I know that's right. Well, then instead of doing the round robin, I'll do the quick introduction and I'll let you speak on what you wanted to speak on then. So first and foremost, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
It didn't work the last time. In all fairness, number one, she had a very short
Wait,
campaign.
hold on.
Right? We all know that, and we know
Wait, Yellow Chick, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Did you hear the question? I think there's a delay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's the question?
I said, do you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
They're like all the above. Okay, so I think I take little bits of all of them. I mean, I vote democratically, right?
Right.
But I think that's because it's the thing that's the closest to socialism, right? Like of the two parties that I have,
Right. No.
which
And
one
we,
is closer to socialism?
yeah, no,
That's
we
why
understand
I
it, but
vote
what
that
do
way.
you consider yourself to be?
I think I mostly categorize myself as a leftist, and I just kind of stay right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I
Well,
do identify with most leftist ideology. And I definitely didn't hear your question.
no worries. Yeah, I think you might have a little bit of delay, but anyway, you wanted to tell us your thoughts on a black woman winning the presidency.
Yes. So number one, when we talk about Kamala, obviously she had a very short campaign, right? But beyond that, let's be honest, no woman has won. It's not just black women who haven't won. No woman has won. And actually, the closest was Kamala Harris herself. Because even when the woman as the vice president was on the ticket, because that has happened before, did not win. Our current president has never lost to a man. He has only won over women, right? And so we got that to contend with, right? I'll also say this. Our community needs to show up to the damn polls, right? There's a lot of rhetoric on in our community about our vote not counting, that it doesn't matter, that, you know what I mean? Our show up to the polls percentages are in the toilet. Something has to be done about that, like reinstating and reinvigorating our younger people. And when I say younger people, I really mean people that are less than 45, right? When I say younger people, I don't really mean teenagers or 20s. I'm talking about like the non-senior citizens, because this problem is going all the way into the 40s. I'm in my 40s. I hear people my age say that, mostly men, a couple of women. That has to be taken care of. The misogyny inside the community has to be handled as well, right? Because if there is any community that should be showing up for Black women, it's Black people, right? And that doesn't happen. So how do you even explain or expect another community to do what our community won't?
Yeah, and you know, I think that there's a lot to be said about that, especially when you talk about, yes, black men definitely did vote for Kamala Harris at a high clip. I mean, we know that black women showed up at 92%, but simple fact of the matter is the gains that you know, the other side was able to make when it came to voting for a black woman, that's actually, you know, it's wild. It's wild. But I think more than anything, I I have faith, honestly, Yellow. I got faith. I do, because maybe
So
it's the fact that I was raised by a black woman, and I got 4 black women as sisters, older sisters, and I'm married to a black woman, and like I don't know, I just like I get I
So
get this
Santana,
country. I get this country,
the
but
22%, which is 30 when you take the 8% of women and the 22% of men, right?
yeah.
So the 30%, right?
Hmm.
They were not the problem.
Yeah.
The
I know. I
50% that
know.
never showed up to the poll was the problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
They were
You're
the problem. The people that looked at the situation and said, you know what? I don't like Trump, but I can't bring myself to vote for a woman, so I'm just going to stay at home completely.
hmm
And it wasn't, they, in grand majorities, it was not, oh my God, I had to work that day and I just could not get there. My polling site is too far and I couldn't get there, couldn't get a ride. It wasn't that. They made the decision ahead of time that they were not going.
hmm
And you and I know that because we debated or discussed, I should say, all of this prior to the election. I've kind of resumed back to my, misogyny kind of stuff.
hmm
But, during candidacy time, we were doing a lot of the same kind of content. We were coming into those same people that were like,
hmm
I'm not going. I'm not even going to do this. It's stupid. It's whatever, whatever.
hmm
And that rhetoric spread like wildfire and cancer. And you didn't hear that rhetoric on the other side. You only hear it on people that would have voted left.
hmm Well, and so
So,
I think even
yeah.
more so, and that speaks to the left as a whole. And Yellowchick, listen, I appreciate you so much, and I know you said you're only here for a good time, not a long time. But we'll be here all this week, fleshing out this whole conversation because I definitely wanted to hear what you had to say about, a black woman winning, but I want to get back to the bigger point because you just said a word in the sense that it's so easily to watch the left be divided because their candidate isn't perfect. And it reminds me of a saying, um, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line,
Yep.
right? And it's such a huge difference where I feel like a lot of people on the left cut off their nose to spite their face, right? And the fact that Kamala Harris wasn't perfect to them, the fact that Kamala Harris wasn't, we didn't get to vote for her, or she didn't have something specifically for black men at this time, or she was a DA, like all of these things that said that she wasn't perfect kept us away from having someone who is way better than the other options. So that's something that we have to deal with on the left for sure.
It was never about her not being perfect. It was
Oh,
about
I
her
know.
being a woman.
I know.
And
I
finding
know.
a perfect candidate is like finding a perfect victim,
Yeah. Ooh. Jeez, Louise, yellow. Okay. You
right?
right.
So a
You right.
woman has to be a perfect victim to be believed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And and a woman has to be a perfect candidate to be voted for.
Mm.
It's a woman issue.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Anyway, I'm gonna drop.
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you so much. You know you're always welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving because we got to get back to it. We got to get back to it because we got to fix the left. We got to fix the left. I want to do a quick round robin for the people that are on the panel and get a temperature check because I want to know where people stand. So for the new people that are on the panel, I'm going to start with JT. JT, how are you? JT, I'm going to send you a request to come off mute. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 100,000 likes. Also, guys, we still have $230 left in our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything's accepted. Anything's appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat and it will help support the live and I'll read your message out. JT, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. JT, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
Well, I haven't taken the test yet, but I'm thinking probably Democratic Socialist.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Hold tight for me a second. I forgot about test, guys. Izzy, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Santana?
Wonderful, wonderful. Izzy, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I'd say probably socialist. I find myself falling more in line with communistic ideals lately, though.
Okay, okay. Hold tight for me just a moment. Hold tight for me just a moment. Whisper, Whisper, how are you?
Sorry, was trying to get it unmuted.
You're good.
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Whisper, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
Honestly, I didn't know those were that many options.
Oh, there's way more than that. I just simplified it down to the
I just
four.
always considered myself more liberal or like left leaning, but like
Oh, okay. Well,
I
we're gonna
don't
stress
know.
test that up here tonight, so
Oh no, okay.
okay. All right, hold tight for me a second. Is it Medieval? Is that how you say your username? Medieval? Medieval 7?
Madam.
Madam? Okay, Madam. Hola,
Yes.
Madam. Madam, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, a progressive, a socialist, or a communist?
I would say probably between progressive and socialist.
Okay, okay. Perfect, perfect. Give me a second here. Native, what's going on, Native?
Hey, what's up, sir? What's up, guys?
Hey, Native, would you consider yourself to be a Democrat, progressive,
Um,
socialist, or communist?
Definitely a progressive.
Mm, mm. Okay, okay. Perfect, perfect. So, guys, this is what we're going to do because we're going to flesh this out because we have to start making that shift. And I really want to get to where we are, right? And so, Fee, I'm going to start with you. Coming to you, Fee. Fee, we know for a fact, and let's keep it funky, right? I think if we're going to start to turn this corner, that we got to keep it funky. So there were a lot of people, specifically in Dearborn, Michigan, who rightfully so wanted the freedom of the Palestinian people. And I absolutely agree that it's free Palestine until it's backwards. But those people in Michigan did not hear specifically what they wanted from Kamala Harris. And so they were unwilling to give their vote to Kamala Harris. And we see this throughout the left, right? So that's one example. But we see this throughout the left where there are people who say, well, my issue is the most important thing. And if you're not going to directly address my issue, if you're not going to directly fix my issue, then you can't have my vote. It doesn't matter that you're trying to address multiple issues. You're not addressing my one issue, so you can't have my vote. So, Fee, you're right, I'm right, we're wrong. What do we do when the left has such a large range of people where so many different things are so important to them that it's hard to actually get them to rally behind one candidate because that one thing might not be addressed the way they want it?
And that is a really good question. I was actually just thinking about that because we kind of have like, I guess like what you could see as a good problem is that we
Mm-hmm.
have such a large tent of people we allow everybody in.
Mm-hmm.
Where it hurts us is that we try to accommodate everybody. And I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's where we make a mistake. Like we have to decide what is our message, what is our kind of main goal or main message, and stick to that and try not to focus so much on like individual things. But I also think that in some ways we have to do some of those other things that you talked about, like inviting other people into that conversation to be the voice. Some of the people who are doing these lives or doing podcasts, things like that, that can be part of that message. And then I think we also need to find a way to simplify the messages more than anything and
Mm.
make them
Yes.
um, something that, like the other side does, the little 3 word or 5 word things. And we also have to make them, now that I would say we can make kind of broad where people do think that it's for them, right? You make it where you are covering this thing that may not even be about them at all, but it sounds like it. So, in
Mm.
some ways, you learn to play the game like the other side and be a little bit deceptive. I hate to say it, but I think it works if people think that you are talking to them, even if you're not.
Okay, so let me push back on that for half a second, right? Because I am someone that absolutely believes, and you see it in the background, not left enough, right? Meaning that we aren't doing the things that we should be doing, right? And so I think there's an argument to be made for if we just leaned into those things even harder, then more people would understand the benefit and they would be willing to actually support versus, saying, oh, there's not, because if you lean into those issues that think about it, if we had a candidate running specifically saying, I'm going to pass universal health care. Everybody's going to get universal health care if I'm the president. Well, that speaks to the thing that you were just saying, like speaking to everybody without, because it doesn't matter who you are, right? If you're on the left, or if you consider yourself someone to be on the left, like who's turning down universal health care? So, I mean, you could lean into those left things without even having to be deceptive.
You could, but I would kind of push back and say that doesn't, I personally think that doesn't work because what happens is
Mm.
the other side demonizes those messages. We allow them to take that and they say, people who are houseless are going to have access to this. People who are not from this country are going to have access to this. Those welfare people are going, and that's what ends up happening. And that's why I said it's almost like you have to be a little deceptive. So you have to say maybe that you're talking to the working class people. And what you really mean is everybody. But
So,
if you focus on everybody, they demonize it.
but Fee, so what you're saying though is you're more worried about looking good versus doing good.
No, I'm worried about
Mm.
saying something but doing good. Like you were saying a moment ago, if we, because if our message gets distorted, then what happens is we're chasing behind that. And we're saying, well, no, that's kind of not what I mean. Or we're like over explaining and it ends up losing the entire message. And we don't get that opportunity to actually do good, where the other side does just kind of focus on, like, say, for example, unions. They didn't focus on unions, right? But the union thought they were talking to them by saying the working class
Mm.
or things like that are saying, I'm going to cut your taxes. We know that's not for the working class, but it sounds good. It's not specific to anybody. And so I think just the psychology of what people hear is what the focus is what they hear and kind of you have to play with their psychology. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I hate
Okay.
to say it that way, but
Okay.
you do.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Madam, I'm coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you land? Because Fee thinks that we might need to be a little sneaky and to get to where we want to go. I actually think that just lean into it hard. Lean into it hard, damn the actual right and what they could say about it because you're doing a good thing and if you run that good thing up and make it something that's attainable for everyone, like I love Kamala Harris, but not everyone is even in the mindset that they could buy a house, right? So even though that credit would have done something amazing for everybody, if you target something like universal health care, everyone needs access to health care. Like, what do you think if you run that up as far as leaning into the left items, or do you need to have some type of cloak and dagger situation to actually hide the good things that you're going to do?
I don't think you have to have cloak and dagger, but I think that more than 50% of our populace is functionally illiterate, and
Mm-hmm.
we're too educated, and our message is going over their heads,
Mm-hmm.
and so they lose interest. I feel like Kamala Harris was so educated and so well articulated when she spoke that people just didn't listen because they didn't understand what she was trying to say.
Mm.
So I think what we need to do is, in a sense, dumb our message down,
Mm.
but still, make it something that everybody wants, like universal health care or, paid medical leave for families and stuff like that. Things that everyone does care about, but the messaging needs to be on a lower level so that everybody can still understand and be
Mm.
for it.
Okay, okay. Now I know we're kind of stretching, madam, right? So I'm gonna push back on you because I want you to stay right here with me. I want you to lock in. All right, can you see my eyes? Hold
Yeah.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Where's my button? Where's my? There it is. Okay. Why do I not have this set up correctly? You know what? Hold on. There we go. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do.
I'll
There
turn
it
my
is.
camera on too, even though I
Okay.
look like
Okay.
crap.
All right. Can you
I'm
see my
locked in.
eyes? Can you see my eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't give a damn about the right.
But it's
Right?
not
Well,
just the
hold on, hold
right.
on. No, 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 hold on. I want us to focus on the left. I want us to focus on us. And we know for a fact that the more educated you are, the more you tend to actually vote for the left. So, do we need to dumb down the message for the people on the left who tend to be more educated?
I feel like we need to bring people who are apathetic in, right? The people who aren't going out and voting because there's too much voter apathy. And I think that includes people who may have grown up conservative but don't
Mm,
really participate in the political sphere.
mm-hmm.
And we need to bring our messaging to more people and bring them in the fold.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. I hear you. All right. Give me a second. Guys, W's in the chat for Yellow Chick. W's in the chat for Yellow Chick. Yellow Chick sent a $5 donation to go towards the nightly donation goal. Yellow Chick, you are absolutely, absolutely too kind. Guys, that means we only have $225 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. We got 340 people. If 225 people send $1, if Chris was telling me about all these trillionaires that were here earlier, so if 225 of the trillionaires watching, if they could just send $1, we'll close that nightly goal out. If you're over on YouTube and you would like to support the live, please, please, please consider YouTube super chat, and I will read your message out. All right. I want to come to Whisper. Whisper. I want to come to you. I want to come to you. Because Whisper, it for me, and I'll tell you, kind of sounds like Madam said that the left needs to worry about other people. I kind of disagree. I think we need to sweep our own porch, figure it out, and then we go forward from there. So, Whisper, do we need to lean into the leftist ideas? Or are we focusing on looking good versus doing good? Where do we fall?
And unfortunately, it feels kind of like a mix of both that they're doing.
Sorry, that was studio. I apologize. Go ahead.
You're good. So I actually grew up conservative, so I still feel very, very baby over here in my voting experience, which is feels sad, but like coming from someone where I voted for whoever my dad told me to vote for
Hmm.
to I have my own voice now. I still don't understand a lot. I
Hmm.
still am learning a lot. But yeah, I feel like the dumbing it down really would at least help those that don't have like they're still learning
Even
a
on the
way to
left.
catch the eye even on the left like I'm
Mm.
on the left. You know, I've been told that my vote doesn't matter, or I've also been told that like I have to go right. um my first my first time voting, like just freshly turned 18, my dad's like, go do Republican down the line, and like
Mm.
wasn't allowed to ask questions, just that's who you vote for. Was told that Obama was the Antichrist.
Mm.
So I'm still learning stuff too, and I'm deconstructing my own like because I don't like a lot of the Republican Party and like what they stand for, maybe what they used to forever ago. But
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, the more that I've learned, the more it's like if you guys think that this is the Christian party, you guys are not right.
Mm.
But that's just my opinion. But like I just have a hard time with I want to like I feel like the left really should at least have some kind of dumbed down part in it
Mm.
to get grab the ones that are like, oh, I really do want to stay on this side, but it doesn't seem too important, or um yeah, does that make sense? Am I making
It
sense?
it does, it does, it does. I hear you, but I'm still pushing back on it. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second, Whisper. Guys, W's in the chat for Gucci. Gucci's in the dollar saying missing a few zeros in my $1 trillion, unfortunately. It's all good, Gucci. Gucci is one of the trillionaires that sent $1 towards the nightly donation goal. So guys, that means that we only have $224 left until we close out this nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Native, come on, fix it. I know you don't feel that way. Native, should we lean into the things or do we need to worry more about messaging on the left? Because I feel like we just need to lean into the things.
So I'm going to be honest, because I've been thinking about this, kind of where we went wrong on the left, and I do think we have a bit of a monumental task because we do have such diversity, and we do have a lot of people that sat out, and I feel like maybe they didn't, one, get the sense of urgency, or two, felt included in the current left movement. I think we need to find like a sweet middle ground where, because I think where a lot of people don't understand is that like America itself, like I kind of think the social aspect of some of the left policies really, we kind of let it overshadow the bigger picture, which was our economy. So I kind of think we should have focused more on the bigger picture, how this vote or how not voting for Kamala, what the trickle effect will that be, and how that affect your pockets, your children's lives, and things like that. And I also think that we focus too much on directly talking about Trump. I think in the future we need to do more preventive measures where we need to get out there and just talk to our voters, talk to our supporters, give them the facts, try to get ahead of the disinformation. But I do think we need to tailor our message where maybe people who are more moderate feel included in the left's messaging, if that makes sense.
It does. I don't agree with you, but it makes sense. Okay, hold on. Chai Chai. I see you in the chat. You said we did. Chai Chai. Explain that.
Okay, so I hear you guys. I feel like the left messaging, we did all that. We spoke about what about the economy. We spoke about the child tax credit. We spoke about how to help the business owners. We went through all that. I don't think the messaging is the for me, I might be wrong. Everybody has their own opinion, but I think we did great on messaging. But the thing is, we didn't do great on is we didn't take charge of the narrative. We let the news or the right wing took over our narrative. Like they took over woke, and we didn't push back on that. We just let them ring all over their own definition, even though they didn't even know what it meant. But we let them have it. And we didn't push back and say, "Hey, we made up the word. We know what the definitions are. Back off." You know what I mean? It's so I think I understand that you want us to like have a like a moderate message, but then we're also going to lose the ones that are progressive because that's what they are into that part. They're leftist progressive. So we also have to have a balance. But I don't think that we lost because of our messaging. I think we lost because of a defeatist mindset. We were too worried about what Trump was doing instead of worrying about what we're
I
doing
agree.
for our people.
But when I say like cater, so like we can do both. When I say like we can still be progressive, but also okay. So like one of the big topics with the right is like the trans topic, like the whole thing with your kid goes out to school and then they come back another gender. We know that's crazy. But I think a message that, or something we could have got out there, was maybe a little bit of education. I also think maybe we have to add some education into our messaging that, like, that's not happening, and we can't just say, "Oh, everyone knows that's not happening." That's crazy. Like, we need to actually teach people about what is happening as far as like trans people and things like that. Like, I think a little bit of education will help.
Yeah, yeah, and like so okay, I get that, right? I mean, taking for granted thinking that people are just, smart enough to know that kids aren't having surgery at school, right? Like I get it. I get it. I get it. But man, okay, so this is what all right, this is what I want to do. Hold tight for me for a second. So let me read these off. Guys, Debbie's in the chat for Whisper. Whisper, I see you over on YouTube as well. Whisper sent a $5 YouTube super chat saying, "Thank you so much for letting me up. I have to go, but I have some questions I'd like to pick your brain about sometime." Listen, Whisper, hit my DMs. Send me a message. I will definitely check that out. Thank you for coming up, and you are absolutely amazing. I will try to answer any questions that you may have, or drop the questions to one of my mods. They can always get it to me tonight. And if you send it to one of my mods, they can send it over, and I'll try to answer it before the end of the night. So, but thank you for coming up, Whisper. You're absolutely amazing. Okay, so I want to read two other things. I'm gonna start with or actually, hold on. Three other things. So let's do this. W's in the chat for Yellow Chick, who sent another dollar donation saying 62% of US is Christian. Does left have space for them? I would say so, right? I mean, like, I'm one of those people that don't think that just because you're religious, that means that you can't be on the left, right? And even more so, I think that if you are someone that lives by the word and not just what you think you're supposed to do, or you don't use, religion as a tool of oppression, right? If you live by the teachings, then you would be left, right? You would be far left. I think Jesus was a communist, right? So that's my opinion. But W's in the chat for Yellow. W's in the chat for Anna. Anna sent a $20 donation saying, from a recently relabeled social democrat with progressive views. I know that's right. You took your test. Test. W's in the chat for Anna. And last but not least, W's in the chat for Amber. Amber sent a $25 donation to say, dumbing it down would bring more voters in, but should not push the educated ones away. Listen, I absolutely hear you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I absolutely hear you. Okay, guys, that means we have
That's me,
100.
by the way.
That's you, madam?
Yeah.
Okay, Duffy's in the chat for madam. Guys, that means that we have, sorry. We have $178 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24, Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. And if you're over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat. And guys, I'm sorry I forgot that word was a ableist word. So we want to kind of stay away from the D word. I apologize. But I get what you guys are saying. With that being said, I want to shift it to Izzy. Because Izzy, I want you to do some heavy lifting for me.
All right.
Izzy, we can both agree that the left has a messaging problem.
Yes.
But do we have to compromise who we are in the sense of leaning into education, leaning into understanding, leaning into science? Do we have to water the message down to not capture the right, but to capture those people who would normally vote left?
Is it okay if I respond with the question?
As long as you know what, throw the question to Fee. As long as you throw the question to Fee, not me.
Okay. All right, I'm going to try to phrase it in not a question then. I don't think that watering it down is necessarily compromising, right? Let's look at Obama, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was very eloquent with the way that he spoke. He was very articulate with the way that he spoke, but he got the message out to people who I think a lot of times we overlook this. Not everyone's going to be as educated as us.
Mm.
They're not going to be able to grasp all the concepts of this, of what our messaging might be. So with that, I don't think that watering it down is necessarily bad.
Mm. Fee, what do you think?
I agree. So something simple that Obama did that we all remember is yes, we can. So
Mm.
everyone could take that and say, what does that mean for me? You can plug in whatever the I can part is for yourself. And that's where I said the psychology comes in because there's no particular attachment to yes, we can. It is unlimited in the way that you think about it. And you and I could have two completely different things that we use for that. So, example, someone brought up recently the oligarchy tour with
Mm-hmm.
AOC and Bernie. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, but what does oligarchy mean? I get it that we're saying fight oligarchy. What does that
Yeah.
mean? And if someone has to look up that word, then now you also provide them the opportunity to plug in what they believe an oligarch is, which means now they can go back to saying that's an elite. And then somebody is going to say, oh, well, elites are on the left. This is why I said it has to be very simple. You, I know that we are so educated that it is so hard because we're like, why can't they just understand that? And that is what keeps happening because us being smart, simple things just seem like it really doesn't have to be that simple. But yes, it does, just like, yes, we can.
Okay. Hold on. So I want to come to JT and then I want to come to SJ and then I want to come back to Chai Chai because we gotta get into this because all right, JT. I mean, again, I hear it. Yes, we have a messaging problem. And yes, they seem to think that the solution is overall to reach more people on the left, we have to start to look at how we deliver that. I disagree. I mean, like I hear it, and I'm coming to you next, JS. Give me a second. But JT, like I think that we have so many things that we can offer on the left that we should focus on those things and deliver. Like, what do you think? Sean, get in the
Yeah, well,
box.
I hear
I'm sorry.
you on that. I definitely hear you, and I think that go full on with the left message that we can reach more people and get more people to vote because it's more authentic and it is who we are. But I do think that I definitely hear what everyone else is saying too, and they say, like, we are a party about education, so why wouldn't we be trying to educate as many people as possible with politics as well? And I also think that we can reach people on the right by talking about things that they have talked about that are important to them because they are important to us too. We just have much better strategies for handling them. Things like immigration and government efficiency and bringing back jobs. I think it's important that we address those things as well, and that will just help us reach more people too.
Mm-mm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I disagree. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Fee, I'm gonna drop you down, friend, okay?
Sorry, I was trying to get off mute. Thank you.
No,
I
no worries.
appreciate you
Thank
and I
you.
appreciate the conversation.
Listen, thank you so much for coming up. You've been absolutely amazing. I really, really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Santana, can I
Dan?
ask you a question?
Who just said that? Oh, that was you, Nato. Okay, hold on 1 second. Guys, massive W's in the chat for D-Spec. D-Spec sent a $3 donation saying, "Happy victory. WTF is this BS ass day." Is today supposed to be Victory Day? I'm so confused. Is that what it is? I don't know. W's in the chat for D-Spec. Guys, that means that now we only have $175 left in the nightly donation goal. There's 343 people hanging out. I know we can knock it out. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. You can also support over on YouTube if you would like to send a YouTube super chat. Native, hold on to the question just for 1 second because JS was next. JS is the only one that didn't get to speak. And then we'll open it up and we'll come to your question, but then we're going to open it up to the whole panel because I want to flesh this out. So 1 second. JS, what do you got?
Hi, I am a progressive, and I think that.
Wait, are you self-diagnosed or you like medically tested? Did you take your test?
I did not take the test.
Okay.
But I've labeled myself as a progressive since 2015 when Bernie Sanders was running, and I, was more in line with pretty much everything he had to say. And then I've been in line with everything that the progressives have had to say since. And so I kind of align more that way, but no, I am not medically tested.
Okay.
And I am open to, if you think that my ideas are something else, please let me know and I'll look into that. And thank you for the gifts, guys. So I kind of agree with Santana on
thank you. About time.
I've been itching to get up here because I'm just like,
I know that's
don't
right.
necessarily think it is.
If you would have said that I was right, I would have let you talk sooner.
God.
Jeez, all you got to do is say you was right, and I'm like, oh, I want to hear from JS.
I mean, I understand what they're saying about, the messaging and dumbing it down, but I don't think that was it because, the same thing that Chai Chai was saying and, others, Obama didn't do that. Obama didn't have to do that. He spoke slowly with a lot of pauses, but he spoke with diction and he didn't speak on a third grade level like Orange Face. So, I think that people think that you have to dumb it down because it has worked so well for Dumpy Pants. And I'm like, it only worked that way with their base. What the Democrats failed to do is people actually don't trust the Democrats. People don't trust that the Democrats will actually follow through with the things that they say they will follow through with. A lot of people, especially progressives, they view the Democrats as weak, right? Like even if they do have power, they don't necessarily use it.
They
And
will
so a
not
lot
swing
of
that hammer.
people, huh?
They will not swing that
They
hammer.
won't swing the hammer. That's why they gave full immunity to a president that they knew wasn't going to use it, right? Like they know that the Democrats are going to try to work across the aisle. They care more about the bipartisanship than they do actually getting things done. And so the Democrats are not necessarily trusted by the American people, which is why we had close to 44% of people stay home, right? Like, I think that the Democrats need to not focus on trying to get the right. You are not going, if they haven't come over by now with everything that they have seen, they are a lost cause. Leave them alone.
I ain't gonna do it.
And I understand trying to get the middle, but even still, like if they had such a difficult choice between Trump and Kamala, like at that point, you need to leave them alone too.
Yeah.
Okay, like we are not, I think the Democrats did. They did everything that you guys are saying that they should do. They tried to chase what it was that the rhetoric was saying. And by doing that, they alienated a lot of people that they could have gotten. They didn't put that person, the pro-Palestinian person in the DNC convention.
I
They
know.
should have done that.
Just
And
so
if
many
they
missed
had done
opportunities.
right, like they were worried about the optics, right?
Because they're worried about
putting
looking good,
somebody
not
like that.
doing good.
Right. They were worried about the optics of putting somebody that was, in their words, anti-Israel in the convention. But then they lost all of those people in Dearborn, Michigan. They lost all of those people who voted third party. And so that was a huge blow for her. And they could have honestly not lost those people had they at least done the small amount of putting, somebody in the convention to speak on that issue, right? But they were worried about optics. And then the whole the when it came to the trans community, after when they were doing their little autopsy of who, why they lost, they blamed the trans community. Right? They blamed their support for the trans community as the reason why they lost. That doesn't really bode well for future elections, because if they lose, they're just going to throw people under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the Democratic Party, it's not about messaging. It's not about dumbing things down. It's about sticking to your guns. And that's one of the things that the right has that we don't. We do not have the ability to stick to our guns. We're trying to be millions.
Pew-pews.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stick to your pew-pews. I'm sorry. They're trying to be chameleons and, be perfect in all of these different categories, and they're pleasing no one, right? Like they're trying to please everyone and they're pleasing no one. So it's like, I think that is the problem with the Democratic Party, is they leave too many votes on the floor, right?
Okay.
Like they leave it on the table.
I completely agree. Okay. Hold on. Two quick things. You're fine. Two quick things. Massive W's in the chat for, what was your name? Okay, I'm gonna just say your real name because I can't remember what your name was. Massive W's in the chat for Felicia, who added $5 to the nightly donation goal, saying, thank you for allowing me on the panel. You are more than welcome. Thank you so much for being up here. I really appreciate you. Guys, that means we only have $170 left in the nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. All the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat to help support the live. Also, make sure you're liking the live. Make sure you are liking the live. I want to take literally just a half a second break from our conversation just to shift gears for 2 seconds. I don't want to dwell on it, but I do want to show you guys this because it just came across my screen, and I think it's worth showing. This is going to be something, of course, that they're going to be talking about, but this is at least worth showing. So I'm going to put this up, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently the U.S. and U.K. so Trump is planning on having a actual press conference tomorrow from the Oval Office at 10 a.m. Eastern, and they are expected to announce a new tariff deal with the UK.
That's his massive announcement.
That's his massive announcement, a new tariff deal with the UK. At the very least, you know what's about to happen.
Wasn't it only 10%?
Yeah, it was, but the maggots about to start maggoting. Because if they listen, they get a little bit of something, they start trying to hot step. Anyway, I didn't want to take away. I just wanted to show you guys that because it just popped up and I was like, all right, that needs to be said. All right, this is what I want to do. Because Native, I know you still have a question. Erica just got here. Izzy still here. We got to come back to Madam. Like Chai Chai haven't spoken in a long time. We're gonna open it up, but I want to come to Sean first. Sean, I want to get your opinion on what was being said, and then we'll just open it up to the entire panel, and then just flush it around. Because I saw you in the chat when you heard what was being said, and I feel like you're gonna be on my side.
First, I just want to say it's got to be the first president to ever lose a war with Britain. But I'm saying. But I think from what was being said, I feel like I was hearing it wrong. I don't know for sure if I was. It just feels as though you don't think I was hearing it wrong.
No, because basically we need to make our message more palatable. Make our message more water it down so more people can actually water it down so more people can actually get the message.
Sure, but what do you mean like simple?
This is not my stance, Sean. Ask Native. Native, you explain it. Because Native agreed.
I just want to make sure, because
and Madam agreed too.
What do you mean by like make the message? What does it mean like we need to make the message more simple?
I mean, I think what I was saying is I think what I believe is that we should find a good middle ground. So find a messaging that everyone can feel encompassed in, because I do feel like part of the messaging was geared more towards the super left, and a lot of people who were a little moderate felt left out. I kind of think that's why a lot of people sat out of it. But then I also think we should include some teaching. A lot of people don't know about trans issues, or, a lot of people weren't educated on how well Biden did during his term with the economy. I don't think a lot of people, knew about stuff like that. So I think we need to find a sweet spot in our messaging, make sure everyone feels included, and do a little bit of teaching.
I have a question, Native. When you say a lot of people don't know, I think a lot of people didn't want to care to know.
I'm sorry, I was trying to say, hold on for a second. I'm sorry, I was on mute because I was chewing. Give it a moment, Cha-Cha. I promise you're gonna come back. Go ahead, Sean.
Sorry.
Well, it's just like from what Native has said. Native, I'm gonna respond directly to what you said, because I was hoping I was hearing it wrong.
You weren't. I told you. What did I say? I said it. Tried to tell you what I say.
Oh my gosh, you need that sound effect. Mm-hmm.
I was just.
But I see. This is why, and right now I'm talking to you, Santana, and you, Erica. This is why I say the idea of firearm reform is a bad idea. Because when people say we need to reach out and reach out an olive branch, my AR is named Olive Branch, and I can reach that thing out. If we have to compromise on the lives of people, then what are we doing? What is the purpose of your political campaign if it's not to make the lives of the people underneath your governance better?
Yeah, I don't think we I don't think we disagree.
We do, because you think that there's a middle ground in trans people existing and right
That's
wing
not what I
people's
said.
feelings. Yes, you do.
I said messaging. I specifically said messaging and making sure
What's
everyone feels included.
what is the inclusion that people
Right.
who hate
So
trans people
when
need
we're
to feel?
campaigning, people, whether you're a factory worker in Detroit or whether you're a trans youth in Florida, you need to feel like the messaging is for you as well. So I'm not compromising on anyone's life. I'm
Yes, you are.
talking about a tailored message where everyone feels
Hold
included.
on, time out. What is a tailored message to make people feel included? Like I'm a black trans woman.
Hmm.
Give me a tailored message that makes me and Donald Trump feel included right now.
So I didn't say Donald Trump. I said a
Donald Trump
factory
is
worker. I'm not mixing my words. I said a factory worker in Detroit and a trans person in Florida. There are two different
factory
demographics, but they
worker.
also need to feel
What is
included.
what is the divide? What is the divide when it comes to the messaging for trans people?
Education. A lot of people aren't educated on what it actually means to be trans, what trans people are going through, and that this isn't some takeover of the country from the trans community.
Is the internet free?
I'm sorry?
Is the internet free?
Not if
Are
you
we
paying for
not trying
government
to
to go.
reach people?
Let me ask this: if a transphobe can use Google to Google things about trans people and say things about trans people that disregard the lives of trans people, what makes you think that they haven't thought like of teaching them? They just don't want to learn.
I don't necessarily think that extreme case is every case.
Okay, so now we're back to square one. So if that extreme case is in every case, then it should be easy for you to come up with like a campaign slogan and a campaign speech right now that makes me, a black trans woman, feel included, and also a transphobe feel included.
So if I was a political strategist, I would, but that's what think tanks are for.
What? You're not answering the question.
I'm answering the
You're
question,
not. You're very
but I'm
not.
also
God.
telling you I'm not a professional in that specific field. But I'm telling you what should be the focus.
This is your idea.
Yes, I'm saying this should be our approach.
Yeah, but you don't have any way to do the approach.
Okay, if I think we should build a car that is more energy efficient, but I don't know how to build that car, are you understanding that analogy?
Yeah, you would have to look up ways to build cars that
Okay,
would
I
be
wouldn't be the one
more efficient.
building the car. I'm bringing the
But
idea.
you would still need to know what energy efficiency means.
Okay, but I'm not putting the car together.
I didn't say. Okay, listen, dog.
So I think the symmetry breaker here, and overall, and I think what we need to understand is like I hear you, Native. I get it. I get it. Like inclusivity, right? Like that's the thing. Everybody wants to belong. We want to make people, but that's not our strength,
How
right?
do wait? How do transphobes feel excluded with the existence of trans people?
Again, I'm not sure if the word education is getting lost on you, but I'm not saying that they're directly transphobes.
I'm
I say
not.
that they are not familiar with the trans community.
Do they feel uneducated? Is that how they feel? Because I'm asking, how are they feeling excluded by trans people existing?
That wasn't the question.
Yes, it
The
was.
question was whether they feel included in the messaging, especially with the last previous
How do
run.
they feel excluded from the message?
I mean, apparently they do because they did not show up.
Okay, so again, this goes back to what the divide is, because like the divide being education, sure, okay, excellent. So should I unalive because someone's uneducated?
So again, your uses of extremes is why we're in
There's
this
no
place.
uses of extreme.
Like
Stop,
this
stop,
is
stop, stop.
ridiculous.
No,
Like
it's not
this.
And
ridiculous.
so, okay,
This is
hold
why.
on.
This is
Let me say
absolutely
something.
ridiculous.
Native, Sean, give me both of you guys. Give me 1 second. Both of you, 1 second. the thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands, and Native has his point, and Sean, she has her point. I want everybody to remember that we are doing this under the guise of pushing each other to be better. So I know at certain times we get into a debate mode, but I want to try to pull this back a little bit because I want to make sure that we have a productive conversation on the left. And Sean, yes, you are left, but I want to make sure that, because I need you both to slow down for half a second, and Native, just try to hear what Sean is saying, because I promise you she's trying to take you somewhere with this. And I do want to open up the panel and let everybody else speak as well. So I want us to, Sean, we gotta, I know you walk people along, but I think we're gonna have to skip with them to get there.
I'll speed it up.
Just try to listen for a second, because I promise you she's going somewhere with this.
How many hours does it take for a black woman to unalive? Native.
To be honest, I would rather you just make your points.
How many hours does it take for a black woman to unalive?
And what would be the statement in that? Where are you trying to get at?
If you don't know, just say you don't know.
No, but I would like you're trying to skip it along. So make your statements so we can move it along.
Hold on. Okay,
so
hold on. Just
right here, hold on, because
Santana. Let me give me one more second. Native, come on. I promise you. Just seriously, this is not a debate. It's genuinely not a debate. I know it got a little bit, quote unquote, heated for a second, but just again, one more time, I'm saying seriously, try to hear Sean out. Just go with it for half a second, please, and thank you, Sean. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. This is a demonstration of how people remain ignorant, because if you're saying that the divide is education and what we need to do is educate people, I just asked you a question you didn't know the answer to, and instead of getting educated and saying, I don't know, can you tell me the answer to that question, you decided to dodge the question.
Or instead of simply stating the answer and not doing an ego flex, you could have just stated what you were trying
There's
to say.
no ego flex.
All right.
You were literally trying to do
So,
that.
That's not an ego flex.
Just slow down for a second, Native. Sean, did you want to finish, or did you want to let Erica speak? What would you like to do?
Yeah, the answer is 6 hours. But the point here is that the divide being education isn't that, because even when the education is right in front of you for the taking, you don't reach out and grab it. So why do I have to come to you with a middle ground if you're not willing to do the education yourself, or even with help?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what you just did, but I digress.
Did you know that a black woman unalives every 6 hours?
But the point, I did not. But the point is to make your point.
It's a yes or no. It's
the
a
point,
yes
I
or
just
no.
said no, but
Did
you should have just made your point.
Did you know?
All right, so this is
said
what we're
no.
gonna do. This is what we're gonna do.
said no.
Hold on.
But
Okay.
it's
Hey,
me.
hold on. Native, I appreciate you coming up. Yeah, you're always welcome in the space, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down just because this is going to a place that I don't want it to be. This panel, this is not about debate. This is not left or right. There's no MAGA. Yes, I want us all to push each other. I want us all to challenge each other, but I want us all doing it in an open sense to try to actually better ourselves and better each other. And that's what this has to be about, because this up here says the divided left, let's fix it. We have to actually engage not only in intellectual conversation, but we have to do it in earnest, and we have to be willing to make ourselves uncomfortable in order to get to the root of the solution. And I appreciate you, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down because I want this to stay productive, and I want people to actually really engage. And pushing back is okay, but pushing back to the point where you can't engage is not okay. All right.
I apologize.
Erica, no, you're good. You're good. I just I like people. I like people pushing, but Anyway, Erica, say something smart.
Something smart.
Nope. See, you lost already. Go back on mute.
All right.
Okay, I'm opening up the panel. I want to hear from everybody because got 20 minutes for tea. Yeah, no, I'm saying seriously. I was about to say it's almost t-shirt time. 20 minutes. So you start. But I want to hear from Madam, Chai Chai, JT, Izzy, SJ, and then back to Sean. So, Exar.
All right. So I actually do agree with Sean. There's no way to tailor one specific message to everyone. However, I do think that the left, and I speak about the Dems simply because we have a two-party system, unfortunately here.
Mhm.
But I do think that the Dems, they need to be better at messaging, and they need to just be honest with people. So know your audience. What I do.
I know. I was just about to say. I want you to take it a step further, and for the people that's actually speaking as well. When it comes to you, I want to make sure that we do this because tonight is the third night of 5 nights, and I want to start to make that flip to just talking about problems to talking about solutions. So,
Yeah.
attach it a little bit more, flesh it out, and get more to solutions for us. And everyone that follows, let's start to make that symmetry as far as, yes, we understand there's a problem, but this is what we can do to fix it. Sorry, go ahead, E.
True. So it kind of looks like what Sean was saying. People have to be okay with saying they don't know. Once
Mhm.
people can get there to saying that they don't know, then the Dems just have to be honest and actually providing the information. It's okay to say that Donald Trump messed up the economy. It's okay to say that Donald Trump made this deal, or it's even okay to say, okay, this is how this policy would actually affect you, and then lay it out for people. I don't think that you have to be more palatable. I don't even think that you have to dumb down. Oh, that's not a good word, right? Is that the bad
It's
word?
not. It's
All
not.
right. I don't
It
think
is
you
not.
have to quote
Water it down.
unquote simplify or water down your message. Just list it out to people. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just say the things that need to be said.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think the left has a problem with they try to take like the moral high road and they try to be the smartest people in the room. So I'm not saying you have to water it down, but even the left can't feel like offended when it's time for a question. When a person asks a question, be okay with answering the questions. I think
Mm.
that's what it is. And yeah, I guess.
Cha cha.
So, my opinion on fixing the divide is I found that the left or the progressive side right now is having a defeatist manner. And I think we need to get over that. And because it seems like we are afraid of the right and we just like let them win for just by ignoring or we think it might go away. And I think that's a wrong approach. I don't agree with watering our message because I don't think Obama did that. He did excellent, actually. And he got the message across without watering anything down. And I think we need to keep it within the left. If we have disagreement, we need to fix it ourselves. Stop outing our own business. You know what I mean? And I feel like are not we don't have a cohesive um message because I feel like sometimes we are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to come have a common ground with that. But I think it's the defeatist mindset that's really like killing us, unaliving us. My bad.
Okay, hold on 1 second, because Erica says she does not agree with that. E?
Yeah, a wise man once said, you know, I can't applaud you in public and criticize and only criticize you in private.
Who said that, E?
I
Whoever
don't know.
said that, I bet you he is handsome. I bet you he is
I don't know about
smart.
all that,
I
bro.
bet you he is kind.
You was kind, you was smart. But
Yeah.
yeah, so no, I think that we do need to hold, and that goes back to optics. All right, with the someone mentioned it earlier, I don't remember who, but with the left, as you okay, JS awesome. With the left, it's always about optics. How do things look? And that's why when I say they need to get honest, forget about the optics. Have the tough conversations with people. Don't hesitate to answer the questions. Like if people have a question, they want to know, okay, all right, you want universal health care. Okay, so how is this going to impact me? Don't beat around the bush and say, well, it's going to benefit everyone and, it's going to save everyone some money. Like, be vague about it. No, get down to the nitty gritty and talk to people.
No,
Forget
no, no. That's
optics
not
and
what I
just
was.
and
That's not
just
what I was
talk to people.
referring to. I agree with you, Erica, but that's not what I was referring to. I'm saying like when we have disagreement within amongst ourselves, like the left, because we
Okay.
tend to have this like, I don't agree with you. Let's say what you said, I didn't agree with you. I just leave everything behind. You know
Oh,
what I
trust
mean?
love. I know what you mean.
And then I'm like, what are we doing? We're letting them win. Like, come together, fix it, talk about it. We grown people. Trust me. You and I are not gonna be the first one to disagree on anything. So we have a messaging to do. We have work to do. So talk about it. We don't have to air out other people's business or you know what I mean, put each other down. Let's do this because I find that like once we disagree, it's like, oh, hell break loose. And I'm like, we gotta fight to win.
I can agree with that last statement, most definitely.
What happened, Santana? You got real close to
Huh?
the camera.
I
Huh?
really wish you stopped doing that. No one wants to see inside your nose or
Oh,
your
whatever. I'm
pores.
cute. For whatever. Izzy.
Yeah,
I'm
so that's
cute,
what I
right?
was referring to, Erica. But I do agree with you. But that's what I was referring. We need to like tighten up. That's what I'm saying.
I feel you. I feel you. I get it. Thank you, love.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I'll say is I never think that we should lose the ability because someone said, I think it was Stella K said we need to hold politicians accountable no matter who they are. And I think that's something that we need to make sure that we do, hold not only politicians but ourselves accountable because if we want to be, better, then we have to actually make sure we do those things. JT, floor is yours.
How did you say this?
Yeah, so I definitely don't think watered down or dumbing down is ever what the terminology we should use or the strategy that we should use, I should say. Um, and I think we just need to reach for clarity and
So how do we do it, JT? Remember, you
yeah.
got to give me some solutions. I
Um,
need cash in my hand right now. Come on, JT.
well, we need to understand, we need to just talk to each other and come together despite our differences.
Mm,
Um, and maybe just continue talking about that. And that's just about embracing diversity. And we don't always get to have a leader that's just like us. And we're working with a huge team of people, which is an amazing thing to have so many different people with so many different views, and we can come together and come up with a plan. But the whole plan will just change depending on so many different factors to come. Like, we don't even know what the next 100 days is going to look like, let alone like when the next election or when midterms come around. It's all going to be changing. But I do think that when it gets down to it, there's going to be a lot of people coming together to put together a plan so that this never happens again. And I think a lot of people are going to be able to come together just on that topic. And if we can kind of rally around something like that, that will really help bring everybody together as well.
yeah, no, I completely agree. I completely agree. I think that there needs to be definitely a plan. But what I think that we need to do, and one of the more important reasons why I wanted to do this is because we have to actually start putting pen to paper and not just, ideas. The one thing that I appreciate about the left is we're idealistic, right? I mean, we have big dreams. But the thing that I feel like we lack is execution of said dreams. And so we have to have tangible things to get to where we want. So we're gonna keep pushing. JT, thank you so much for coming up, my friend. I'm gonna drop you down, okay?
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Izzy, how do we make it happen? Right? What do we do?
I can't remember who said it, but someone mentioned that our people do not stick to their pew pews. Um, That was JS. Okay, I was thinking it was
Jay
you.
has just been like putting up just me. That was me. Anyway, go ahead,
She has
Izzy.
been cooking all night. So I know, like with Colin Allred, right? When he was in his debate against Ted Cruz, Ted
Mm-hmm.
Cruz was firing shot after shot after shot at him.
Mm-hmm.
Allred was as passive as could be. We need people in all of these offices who are going to be more aggressive. We need to run more aggressive people. Now, I don't necessarily think that it has to be super far left. It could be centrist left. It could be far left, either one. But whatever it is, we need to be able to pull the Overton window from where it is currently, because where we're sitting at currently as a nation, fascism is looking like regular conservatism within the lens of our country. So we need to be able to pull that Overton window to the left far enough to where fascism is looked down upon as much as it is in Germany currently, and we ostracize it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Izzy, do you know who Overton Sinclair is?
I do not.
Look at Erica. Hey, it snapped around so quick. JS, do you know who Overton Sinclair is?
I am.
Okay, hold on. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
I recognize the Overton window.
Yeah, I'm not talking about no windows. Stop putting it in the chat.
You saying it wrong, anyways. That's not his name.
But who am I thinking? Yeah.
No, but it's Overton and Sinclair.
No, it's Overton Sinclair. I don't care what you say.
Oh my God.
Sean, I know you know Overton Sinclair.
That boy fine.
We are living single in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl.
Keep your head up. What?
Keep your head up. That's right. Anyway, geez, Louise, you guys are completely off the rails.
Overton. Oh, Lord.
Jeez, Louise.
Living single Overton, and then I would have been like, okay, gotcha.
Not Uptown coming here and crashing the whole party.
Wakefield Jones, thank you very much.
Well, I meant Overton. Who's
and Sinclair James.
Sinclair's Sinclair. Overton and Sinclair, the couple.
I literally you know what you get on my nerves.
I don't care. You guys knew what I meant.
Say full name.
Stop it. Okay. Stop it.
He said you should have said living
Stop
single.
it.
You know
over here. Like I don't know. I live in single.
how many people you know named Overton?
Just him, and then the Overton window.
You almost made me say some words that I don't say in mixed company, Sean.
Don't worry about it, JS. He messed up. Thomas, do you know who Overton Sinclair is?
But you know what I was talking about.
And Sinclair. Didn't know there were two people.
You knew what I was talking about.
I did, but yeah.
Whatever, Khadijah. Anyway, all right, let's move this along.
I'll take it. Her doobie was always
let's move it along. Anyway, JS, seriously, how do we fix it though? I mean, because I agree with Izzy, right? I mean, there has to be a point where we start to, and maybe like Izzy, we've been trying to do that, right? Like,
have we? Because
I thought so.
We still have Chuck Schumer in office. He bent the knee, right? Are we going to primary him? Like, as much as I want to see him primaried, realistically, is the DNC going to sit? I'm sure that David Hogg would love to see him primaried, but are we going to primary him in 26 when he's up for re-election? Are we going to run someone who has the courage to stand up against John Cronin in 2026 here in Texas?
Look at who they chose above AOC. A man who had to literally step down only a few months later for stuff we already knew he had.
Yeah.
So
wasn't that Jasmine Crockett?
No, it's AOC. What did the guy? He had brain cancer, right?
Now.
Yeah, he had brain cancer.
Now. Because she's the vice, but before that it was AOC.
That's right. Sorry, I was conflating the two things. My bad.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. There's a lot going on, but what do I think that we should do? For one, people are reacting right now to activism. So people reacted to Al Green. right? Like when he did his thing, people reacted positively to that. What they reacted negatively to was, thank you so much. Anyway, but what
Debbie's in
they
the chat for my
reacted,
wife. She
thank you
doesn't
so
send
much.
me any gifts.
I like her.
I want a galaxy.
What they reacted negatively to, and what the right was so quick to attribute to people not liking the Democrats, was the fact that they censured him, and Democrats agreed with that. And then they also agreed with cloture. Like, the Democrats got on him for that and actually agreed to get on him for that. And then no other Democrat had his back either. What they should have done that day was everybody should have done an Al Green. Like everybody should have stood up and did it 2 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart. Show some good trouble. Censure them all, you know? And it's like we're not united on that front, and that's the problem. And so people are not trusting that the Democrats will actually stand 10 toes down for the people at this point, right? So that's one thing we need to do. We need to increase our activism. We need to make sure that people know that we are on their side and we are unafraid to be on their side. That is why a Jasmine Crockett is important, because she says what she needs to say. She is not perfect. She does not care about optics. And that is what we need. We do not need people in office and people, we do not need people that are the head of the Democratic Party right now that is not meeting the moment that we're in. People still think this is politics as usual. It is not. News flash, Democrats, we are not in politics as usual. We are in 1930s to 1940s politics in Germany right now. We need to actually pay attention to what we are the moment that we're in, and react to that. The second thing we need to do is we need to amplify these things that they are doing when it comes to voting rights. Because sure, we can get a whole bunch of people out there to vote, but if there's voting disenfranchisement, then, and they're throwing out 60,000 votes in North Carolina because they didn't like a Supreme Court case, yes, that's happening. Then we need to be amplifying that. We need to be talking about that. We need to be bringing that to the spotlight, right? Like that case is not being talked about by any mainstream news media at all. And it's probably one of the most important cases of our time, because they can just take an election that they don't like, throw out votes 6 months later that they don't like, and then, and then put the guy in that they wanted to put in the first place, and they're doing it on under cloak, right? Yeah. They're doing it under the table and nobody is talking about it. So Democrats need to be a lot better when it comes to pointing out these specific cases, and everybody needs to be on every newscast or somewhere talking about them. And we also, I've been writing things down. And we also need to stop trying to be friends with the mean girls, right? Like we're always trying to push ourselves to the right to grab the people on the right. Leave them alone. They don't want to come over here. They don't want to be friends with us. And even if they are friends with us, they're only going to use us and then, throw us away when they're done, right? Yeah. So we need to push left. We need to push to the left. We need to push to the people that we know are disenfranchised. We need to push to the people who don't feel like they have a voice. And I'm not talking about the middle. I'm talking about the non-voters. I'm talking about get people out who think that their votes don't matter. And a lot of people think that their votes don't matter because their places are heavily gerrymandered. We need to fight that. We need to fight that as a party. The whole gerrymandered thing and all this other stuff. We only have a couple of people like Mark Goliath and all that. They're bringing these things to attention. But most people, they just think, hey, people vote all the time and this place is still, gerrymandered. If people would actually vote, we could take places like Georgia. We could take places like my home state of North Carolina. We could take places like Texas. but people do not vote because they
Yep.
don't think it actually matters for them to do so. And the Democrats don't even say, anything to that. Think about the District 1 and 6 of Florida. Those they went up double digits from just November because people actually got out there. They had a really good ground game. And this is the last thing I'll say. We need to campaign harder for longer. We only start talking about the election during the actual election time. Whereas Trump was campaigning for 2 years before the election actually started. He was already doing rallies. He was already talking to the people. He was already doing his, rallying his base and all of that other stuff. And they work on fear, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they fearmonger about everything. That's why the whole education and we need to educate people about trans people. That's why I don't necessarily agree with that because it's not like they can't get educated. They are being fearmongered by the other side, and there is nothing on the Democratic side that is pushing back against that.
Yeah.
Not
So,
loud enough, not strong enough.
yep. No, I completely agree. And to Sean's point, I mean, the internet is free. The
Right.
internet is absolutely free.
And the thing is, they don't want to know, though. They don't.
No.
You can tell them facts right here. I've been on these lives. You can tell them facts right there. Read it to them from a .gov, and they're like, "That's not true." So
Yep.
it's just
Yep.
like they don't want to be educated.
Yep. I completely agree. I completely agree. Sean, I feel like JS just said we need to burn this shit down.
We need to do better.
We
Sean,
do.
Sean,
I don't feel like JS just said that, but okay.
you don't think so?
No, not at all.
I maybe I'm just cynical because I heard burn it down.
I didn't build it up.
Oh, okay. Sean, do we need to?
Better
Sean,
protect.
I kind of.
I think I wanted to tell you this. It was because this was something that I was going to tell that I'm actually going to start telling people, especially media, when certain things get together. You know what I'm talking about. When people ask me things like, why would I, back up you or Erica or wherever else and get people to register to vote or whatever else, this, that, and the other, because I don't believe in the electoral system. It's because I'm starting to, in my Marxist journey, to understand that voting is the most important thing that a person needs to have so that they can learn to take it for granted. I need y'all to understand that this system is not built for you. This system is not built for marginalized people. There is no middle ground with fascism. And the only thing that's going to come of a country that is built on fascism, the inception of this country was to unalive 90 million indigenous people. It cooled the temperature of the earth. 90 million for simply existing. They was chilling. And they just got massacred for no reason. A country that starts off that way is never going to be a country that is going to implement any kinds of laws or rules that benefit marginalized people.
It will if you burn it down.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know. Okay, listen, guys. I want to get to Madam and then Chai Chai, and I'm being told that we got to wrap it up. So we're gonna speed run this. Madam. Final thoughts for you.
Yeah, I agree with what everybody is saying. The
You
Democrats
agree to
are
burn it down?
no,
Oh,
but
okay.
the Democrats are feckless. They do nothing. The Republicans are not being fair. They're not playing the game like they should be, but the Democrats are still trying to play the game, and it's never going to work. We need to focus on
voter apathy. There's too much voter apathy. We need more people to understand that voting is so important and your vote is so important because there's so many people who feel like their vote doesn't matter. And that's not the case. I mean, there are elections there is an election in North Carolina that she won by 700 something votes.
700 something votes. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? So we need to focus on making sure that people know, like, yes, you need to vote. That is your voice. And if you don't, if you don't get out there and vote, it's gonna come to you and you're gonna be on the bad end of whatever happens. So I think that the Democrats, I love what David Hogg wants to do in, getting rid of the Democrats that are not doing their jobs. These people are supposed to be working for us as the American voters. They work for us, but they don't feel like they do. So we need to show them that that's the case. We need to heavily lean into grassroots progressives, campaigns that actually care about the people.
Yep, I completely agree. I completely agree. Okay, Chai, final words for you.
I completely wow. JS, you just ate the whole plate. So I completely agree with majority of you guys on the stage. My
What
solution
about
is
me?
we need to burn it all down. 50-50.
Okay, cool. I'll
Somebody's
take
already
that.
doing that for us.
I was gonna say, yeah, the Republicans are burning it down. We're gonna have to burn
Yeah,
it
but
back up.
it's like they're using
Nah,
matches.
there's a difference here. Like
Yeah, they're
when
using matches.
Republicans, I would say Republicans aren't burning it down. Republicans are just doing what the system is supposed to be doing. The the system just does not make sense. It's not built to make sense. Like fascism, white supremacy, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny was never built to make sense, ever.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
Yeah,
The floor's yours. The floor's yours. Sorry. That
I
was on
am
me.
sorry.
no. You're fine. You guys are fine. I would. What Sean said. That was very poignant. It's true. It's he. There's no debate about that. So I would agree with that. Um, do we need to build it back up? But we need to understand that we always come back to build it back up, and the Republican tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I say 50-50 because like how we if we're going to tear it down ourselves, how are we doing it? We need to go about it a different way. The Republican will be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the way to start fixing issues, we need to start having a vetting process. We don't have a vetting process. I don't know what criteria like that should be implemented. We could sit down and discuss about that, which is another topic. And also, we need to also have a system that if our representative is not doing what we need it to be doing, they need to get fired. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, we're gonna let you finish your 2 years term. You need to like be fired because if I went and got a job and I wasn't performing the way I needed to perform, I would have got fired.
They're gonna put you on the pip, then they're gonna get you up out the door.
Exactly. So we need to stop wasting our taxpayers' dollars and fire them ASAP. I don't know. I think there is a petition you could do to, I guess, put people out of office before their 2 years is up or their term is up. But we need to start doing that heavily and be on business about that. Um, we Democrat needs to stop playing nice. This nice, like you said, just look apart. That's over with. As JS was saying, like we're not. This is not the timeline because they're playing on a different rules. They're playing a different game. We can't be playing the same game when they are playing by a different set of rules. And I think we're going to lose this country if we don't tighten up. This I don't like this. I feel like we're having a defeatist mindset, and we need to fix that within our own. And we letting them narrate our own political party. They take the narration and then flip it over, and then we don't come back and have a comeback. We need to stop having this defeatist mindset like, oh, what can we do? We
Yeah,
can do a
yeah.
lot.
I absolutely agree, and I think that one thing that a lot of people seem to not really understand or not really get is that there are so many things that we can do to actually like engage the power that we have. But I think a lot of people don't necessarily do that because they don't get that, you know, there's multiple things that we could lean into, multiple systems. And yes, I mean, like, for sure, voting is one, but like there's so much power even in like withholding our money, like not spending money in certain places. Like we have power. We have power. We just have to be able to use it. All right, let's do this real quick. Sean, you said you had someone you want to shout out.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm sorry to do this. Like on yours, I noticed they sent me a cash app at like 10:30, and I just saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But can we say W to Hannah? Your Hannah, W to Hannah for sending me $100 on Cash App. That's major W, major W.
Where's my Zoom? Where's my Zoom? You better be glad I can't find my Zoom
With the
fast enough.
Zoom, with
Y'all
You
the
better
better
be glad
drop
I
Zoom.
them
can't
big
find my Zoom. You
W's.
better be glad I can't find my Zoom. I had to move on nothing. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. Sean, check your Discord because I sent you something. I don't know if you saw that. Anyway, yeah, guys, listen. I think that it's something to be said, right? And the one thing that I will say, and I talked about this last night, right? And I want to actually speak on it again. I want to make sure that it doesn't have anything here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me do this. There's so much that we can actually do. Um, there's so much that we can actually do, and I think like we have to actively find ways to engage, right? I mean, we have to do the things. And so, like, this is something that I'm doing, right? It's not the biggest thing, but it's something. And this is I signed up for rapid response for our freedom, right? And so I was looking for something, anything, right? And I was looking in multiple places, multiple states. I was looking for something where I could actually get out because I want to get out more and do things more and help people and figure out how can I do things. This was the best thing that I could find in the short term as far as engaging, right? And so this event, it's a virtual event, but it's supposed to set us up to actually be able to engage in other ways, right? And I say all that to say, like, we have power. We can do a lot of different things. We just have to actually just put one foot in front of the other. Like, let's start doing things. And that's just the point. That's my point. Like we have control, we have power, we can boycott Starbucks, we can boycott Target, we can march with a million something people in the street, we can organize, we can use our collective voices, we can burn some shit down if we decide, but like we can do something. And that's just my point. So, all right. Listen, guys, it is past t-shirt time for me. And I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go. Would you all like to do the outro with me or say goodbye? No, it's not the outro because it's part. Anyway, you guys want to do the outro with me?
I was about to say, is smooth jazz involved?
No, 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 no.
I'll do it.
There's absolutely no. First of all, put some respect on Kendrick Lamar's name. Second of all, hey, W's in the chat for Gucci for the $10 donation over on Venmo. Just put a W. Thank you, Gucci. I appreciate you so much. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Everybody come off mute. I know you guys know the things. I need you to come off mute and do the things with me. Everybody, you guys are ready? We got to get out of here because I literally have a 5 a.m. meeting. All right, guys.
Damn.
Right?
A meeting at 5 a.m. is crazy work.
If it wasn't for my 30 milligrams of Ada, I don't want to say that on live. I'll be looking like a fish-eyed fool.
Oh my
Just call me
gosh.
Tommy.
Yeah. Debbie's in the chat for Izzy, who just sent a $5 donation. Let's go, Izzy! Izzy, is it because I'm cute? I know it is. All right, guys. No, seriously, we got to get out of here. I've been told multiple times by management that I got to get off live. And gosh, she be cloning me.
Hey,
Send help. Sean, send help. Somebody send help. Jeez
Send
Louise,
help
somebody
is
send help.
crazy.
All right, let's go. Guys, thank you for all the likes, the taps, the shares. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for engaging in an amazing conversation, guys. We got 2 more nights of this. 2 more nights of this. And seriously, listen, I know we talked about problems. I know we kind of danced around with it, but for these next 2 nights, I want us to really focus in on solutions because we have to figure this out. So these next 2 nights, yes, we will have gripes. Yes, we will have disagreements, but we damn sure better have more solutions than we have problems. So if you get in the box tomorrow, you better have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solutions with you. All right? All right. So anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for all the taps, the likes, the shares, the gifts. Thank you all for being amazing. We love you all. Thank you all. And as always, peace.